Welcome to another deep dive. This time we're going deep into something. I know you're already fascinated by the intersection of technology and psychology.
Always a fascinating mix.
You bet. And you actually shared this super interesting academic thesis with us.
Oh, yeah?
It's called, hold on, let me make sure I get this right. La TecnoPsicologia como Análisis del Comportamiento Humano en los Nuevos Medios.
Which basically means technopsychology as an analysis of human behavior in new media.
From Universidad Anahuac.
Right.
And this isn't your typical, psych study.
Definitely not.
It goes way beyond just cause and effect.
It really digs deep into how human behavior changes and adapts when you throw electronic technologies into the mix.
Exactly. And the author of this thesis had this crazy research journey.
Oh, yeah?
They spent time in 8 different international centers.
Really?
Focused on cyberspace
Wow.
and outer space.
Makes you wonder, huh?
It really does. How much does our environment, whether it's digital or physical, really shape how we interact with all this tech?
It's a huge question.
It is. And it's this thesis is a travelogue through the human mind in the digital age.
I like that.
One of the first things that really jumped out at me was this concept of technology as a sensory mirror.
Ah, interesting.
What are your thoughts on that?
It's a really cool way to think about it.
Yeah.
Basically, the author is saying that technology reflects back to us our sensory experiences
Okay.
and how we process the world.
I could see that.
Like, take the internet, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's this massive ocean of information,
It is.
and it reflects our desire to know,
Yeah.
to explore, to make sense of everything.
Right.
Then you've got social media
Wow.
reflecting our need for connection and belonging.
So true. So
A
true.
very human need to connect.
It makes you wonder if those needs were always there, just kind of waiting for the right tech to come along and be like, hey, look at me.
Right. Like a mirror. Totally. So is technology just amplifying these needs that were already there?
That's one possibility.
Or is it actually creating new needs?
Ooh. Now that is the question.
It is, and it's like the million-dollar question. Right?
It is. And you know what? This thesis actually tackles this head on
Oh, good.
with a surprising example.
Lay it on me.
The alphabet.
The alphabet.
Give it a go.
Seriously. I mean, it's so basic, right?
Oh, no.
We never even think of it as technology.
Exactly. And that's the point.
Oh, okay.
The author argues that the alphabet as a technology fundamentally shifted human cognition.
Interesting.
Think about it. The alphabet is linear,
Okay.
sequential,
Makes sense.
and it encourages us to process information in this very specific way,
Like in a line.
in a straight line.
Okay.
And they suggest that this shift towards linear thinking might still be influencing how we design and interact with digital technologies.
So, like, our love of bullet points and numbered lists is because of the alphabet.
That's what the author's getting at. That's kind of wild.
It is. It's a pretty radical idea.
Makes you think.
It does, and it leads to another big question.
Hit me.
What about the technologies we use every single day?
Right.
Are they shaping our minds in ways we don't even realize?
Oh, I bet.
This is where the thesis dives into this whole debate
Ooh, fun.
about the role of instinct in a world that's, driven by technology.
Okay, now this is where it gets a little, I don't know, unsettling for me.
Really?
Are we losing touch with our primal selves,
Interesting.
our gut instincts,
Yeah.
the things that helped us survive for, ever?
Yeah.
Are we trading, fight or flight for click or scroll?
It's a good question.
It's a scary question.
Maybe.
I think so.
There's definitely a tension there, right?
Big time.
And the thesis presents both sides.
Okay.
So some experts believe that our instincts are driving our responses to technology.
Okay.
Like, we're naturally drawn to novelty, stimulation, connection. But others think that technology is overriding or even reshaping those instincts.
Whoa.
It's a debate.
It is. And a very complex one.
Makes me think about all the times I've instinctively reached for my phone when I'm feeling anxious or bored.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that my primal need for connection, or is it this digital instinct that's been, programmed into me?
Another great question.
I know, right? I should be writing these down.
You should.
Okay, this is getting deep.
It is. And it leads us to another key concept that the thesis explores.
Right, I'm ready.
Determinism.
Determinism.
The idea that events are kind of predetermined.
So you're saying my love for the latest gadget or app, it's not even my choice?
That's a bit of an oversimplification,
Okay.
but the author does make you think about whether our reliance on technology is maybe limiting our free will in subtle ways.
I mean, it's true. We're constantly bombarded with information, right?
Absolutely.
Nudged by these algorithms,
Yeah.
influenced by trends we don't even know about. It's a lot.
It makes you wonder, how much agency do we actually have in this digital world?
That's a question the author wrestles with throughout the thesis.
I bet. And this brings us to like one of the most challenging ideas in this whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
The concept of envolvante,
Ah, yeah.
which I think translates to envelope or surrounding.
Something like that.
This is where it gets all mind-bendy, right?
It does.
So what exactly is this envolvante?
Well, the author uses this term to describe the space where our minds interact with technology.
Okay.
But it's not just the physical interaction. It's
Oh.
deeper than that.
Okay, I'm listening.
Think of it as this like intangible field
Hmm.
where our thoughts and emotions,
Mhm.
even our unconscious desires, they mingle with the digital world.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just about what apps we use or the websites we visit,
That's
right?
bigger.
It's about how those experiences actually shape the environment our minds operate in.
Precisely.
That's heavy, man.
It is. And that's where this thesis pushes the boundaries of traditional psychology, you know?
Yeah.
It suggests this level of like interconnectedness.
Between us and the tech.
Exactly. Which
Yeah.
is hard to measure,
But
but potentially super powerful.
this is where all that research in those 8 different centers comes in, right?
Absolutely.
Like, I'm picturing this researcher going from high-tech labs to, like, ancient temples,
It's quite a journey.
trying to understand how different cultures experience this envolvante in their own unique ways.
It's a global exploration of the human mind in the digital age.
I'm hooked. This is wild.
And that's just the beginning. Welcome back. We were talking about envolvante last time.
Right, that energetic space where our minds meet technology.
It's like this key idea
Yeah.
running through the whole thesis.
Totally. I've been thinking about it like it's not just clicking buttons, you know?
It's more than that.
It's like swimming in this ocean of digital information, and it's shaping how we think and feel without us even realizing it.
Exactly. That's exactly what the author is trying to get across.
It's wild.
It is. And they argue
Hmm.
that understanding this whole envolvante thing
Yeah.
is crucial
Okay.
for developing what they call psychotechnologies.
You mean those technologies that can, like, directly interact with our minds?
That's what we're talking about.
That's both amazing and kind of scary.
Definitely uncharted territory.
No kidding.
And what's super interesting is that the author links psychotechnologies with psychoanalysis.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Are they saying that our inner conflicts and desires, like, influence how we design and use technology?
That's one way to think about it.
Hmm.
Think about social media.
There we go.
Right. Could we see that as a reflection of our need to connect?
Makes sense.
A need that maybe wasn't being met before these platforms came along.
I mean, before Facebook, how did we even, like, know what our friends were eating for dinner?
Exactly.
And what about those, like, addictive algorithms?
Right.
Are they tapping into our primal desire for instant gratification?
Maybe it's like technology knows how to push our buttons.
Literally. Literally.
So is this where the author's global research comes in?
It does. Remember, they spent time in all those different centers.
Yeah, from NASA to research centers in Korea and Egypt.
They found that different cultures have very different approaches to technology.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's also about the cultural lens, right?
Absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
through which we see it.
Give me some examples. I'm dying to hear this.
Well, the thesis mentions that certain Asian cultures see technology as, like, an extension of themselves.
Oh, interesting.
Almost like a natural part of who they are.
Okay.
Whereas Western cultures, we tend to draw a line, right?
Between humans and machines.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
It could explain why some cultures jump right in with new gadgets and platforms,
Yeah,
while others are a bit more hesitant, you know?
makes sense. And these cultural differences could have a huge impact on the development and, the adoption of psychotechnologies.
So different cultures might use these mind-altering technologies in totally different ways.
Exactly. Imagine a world where these technologies are designed with different cultural values.
Whoa. Okay.
It'd be really interesting.
It could also be pretty messy.
Potentially, yes.
It's like we're on the verge of this, like, new era of culture clashes.
Mm.
But this time, it's not about land or resources.
It's about our minds.
Right. It's mind-blowing. Does the thesis offer any, like, solutions to this potential clash of technocultures?
Well, the author really stresses the importance of critical thinking
Yeah.
and awareness. Like, we need to be mindful of how technology impacts our minds and behaviors,
Yeah.
and also be aware of the cultural biases that might be built into these technologies.
So it's not about like rejecting technology altogether.
No, not at all.
It's about using it carefully.
Consciously and thoughtfully.
Right. Makes sense.
And that's where the thesis circles back to that idea of un volvante.
Okay, how so?
If we can understand the space where our minds meet technology, maybe we can learn how to navigate it better, more skillfully.
Maybe we all need to become like technopsychologists.
In a way, yes. We need to understand this interplay between our minds, tech, and our cultures.
Deep stuff.
It is, and that brings us to another fascinating part of this research,
At me.
the author's time at NASA.
Okay, now wait.
Yeah.
What does space exploration have to do with the psychology of technology?
Well, the author sees space as the ultimate frontier,
Right.
where we push the limits of what it means to be human,
Makes sense.
and we challenge all these assumptions we have about the world.
I can see that. Like just picturing the vastness of space can make you feel pretty small.
Exactly. And the thesis suggests that exploring the unknown, whether it's outer space or our own minds, it can give us new insights
Into ourselves.
into ourselves and our place in the universe.
Okay, so exploring outer space can also be like a journey inwards.
That's the connection.
I get it, I get it.
But did the author explicitly connect space exploration to psychotechnologies?
Yeah, like are we going to be sending therapy sessions to Mars?
Not quite, but the thesis suggests that what we learn from space exploration can be valuable in developing technologies that could enhance our mental and emotional well-being here on Earth.
So studying astronauts could help us create technologies that make us more resilient and adaptable.
And maybe even give us a sense of wonder in our daily lives.
That would be cool. Did the author look at any ancient cultures too?
They did. They explored how ancient cultures developed and used their own technologies.
What can we learn from them in this crazy digital age?
The thesis argues that by looking at the past,
Right.
we can understand the present better and even get a glimpse of the future.
It's all connected, huh?
It is. It's about finding patterns
In how humans interact with technology.
across time and cultures.
So it's not about comparing like pyramids to skyscrapers.
It's deeper than that.
It's about understanding those underlying principles, right?
Yes. How humans use technology to shape their world.
And how technology shapes them.
Precisely.
This thesis is like a giant tapestry,
It is.
and we're just starting to see the whole picture.
Weaving together psychology, technology, history,
Even space.
to try and understand the human mind in the digital age.
What are some of the like key takeaways, the big things our listeners should remember?
Well, one big takeaway is that technology isn't just a tool.
Okay.
It's a powerful force.
Yeah.
It shapes our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors.
It's like part of our environment now, like the air we breathe,
We can't escape it.
but we can understand it better.
Exactly. Another key takeaway is that our relationship with technology is super personal and cultural.
Right. Like what works for one person might not work for another.
Exactly. There's no one size fits all.
So we need to respect that diversity,
Right.
right? Not try to force everyone into the same tech mold. Okay, what's the most important takeaway then?
I think it's that we need to approach technology with both caution and optimism.
So not just get swept away by all the new shiny things.
Right. We need to be aware of the potential downsides.
But also be open to the possibilities for good.
Be an active participant,
Questioning, exploring, helping to shape the digital world.
That's it.
Don't just passively consume it.
The future of technology isn't predetermined.
That's a good point.
We have the power to shape it
I like that.
in ways that benefit everyone.
Okay, so we've talked about un volvante, space exploration, ancient culture.
We've covered a lot of ground.
What's next?
This brings us to one of the most intriguing and potentially unsettling parts of the thesis,
Oh boy, I'm ready.
the concept of psychotechnologies.
It's like we're stepping into a sci-fi movie.
It does feel that way, but the future is often closer than we think.
All right, so we're back, and I'm ready to, like, really dive into the deep end here.
Okay.
Psychotechnologies. I mean,
It's a big one.
it sounds like something straight out of, sci-fi.
It does.
But after everything we've talked about,
Yeah.
it's clear that this stuff is coming.
It is.
It's exciting.
Absolutely.
But also kind of scary to think about technology that can, like, directly mess with our minds.
It's a huge shift.
It is.
We've been talking about how technology influences us,
Right?
But psychotechnologies take it to a whole other level.
We're talking about tech that's designed to, like, interface with our thoughts, our emotions.
Even our subconscious.
Whoa.
It brings up all sorts of ethical questions.
No kidding. I mean, it's like opening Pandora's box, right?
In a way, yeah.
We've all seen those movies where, like, technology takes over and humans become, slaves to machines.
Right.
It plays on our deepest fears.
It does, and those fears aren't totally unfounded.
Okay.
The thesis acknowledges that psychotechnologies could be misused
In what ways?
for manipulation,
Okay.
control, even coercion.
Scary stuff.
Imagine a world where our thoughts and feelings could be hacked.
Without us even knowing?
Exactly.
That's chilling.
It is a chilling thought.
It makes you wonder, is it even worth the risk?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
But the thesis also points out the potential benefits.
Right. There's always two sides.
There are. What if we could use psychotechnologies to, say, treat mental illness,
Okay, yeah.
enhance learning, even promote empathy between people?
Now, that's the kind of future I want to live in.
It's a brighter future.
But how do we make sure it doesn't all go wrong?
It's a challenge.
How do we prevent these technologies from being used for, like, bad stuff?
There's no easy answer.
I figured.
The thesis doesn't pretend to have all the solutions,
Okay.
but it really stresses the need for ethical guidelines,
Makes sense.
responsible development, and just open dialogue.
Like talking about it before it's too late.
Exactly. We need to be having these conversations now.
So it's not just about the, scientists and engineers.
It's bigger than that.
It's about getting everyone involved.
We need philosophers, ethicists, everyday people.
Yeah.
We need diverse perspectives to make sure this technology is used for good.
It's like, I keep thinking back to the author's research in all those different places.
Yeah.
Cyberspace, outer space.
It's like they were trying to get this big picture view of how humans interact with technology.
Right, from our minds to the cosmos.
To the powerful image.
It is, and this thesis, it's not just some academic paper, right?
It's more than that.
It's a call to action.
For all of us.
To, like, pay attention and be involved.
We have a responsibility to shape the future of technology.
Make sure it aligns with our values.
Our hopes for a better world.
This has been a trip.
It has.
I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, to be honest.
That's understandable. It's a lot to take in.
But it's been fascinating.
It's what a good deep dive should do,
Yeah.
It should make you think.
Challenge your assumptions.
And leave you with more questions than answers.
So, what's the final takeaway here?
What should our listeners be thinking about as they, go about their digital lives?
Right.
Approach technology with curiosity,
Okay.
a critical eye, and a commitment to ethical engagement.
Don't just be a passive consumer.
Be an active participant.
Question things. Explore. Help shape the digital world.
The future of technology is not set in stone.
That's comforting.
It's a future we're all creating together.
I like that. It's empowering.
And through thoughtful engagement, we can make sure it benefits everyone.
This has been amazing. Thank you so much for taking us on this deep dive.
It's been my pleasure.
And to our listeners, keep exploring, keep questioning.
And keep shaping the digital future.
Until next time.